Hi, how are you? Mystic Moons is here. So, what surprise is coming your way? What what's special? What surprises? What surprises are coming your way? Hello, hello. Hello, Michael. Michael flips. How are you doing? Well, you were flipping too. Flipping this way or that way? Upside or inside? Are you flipping towards a great surprise? A great a great change. Maybe you're going from completely from one end to another end. And it's 4 4. It's the power of fours. Well, what surprises are coming your way? Every day we get hit with new surprises. Sometimes the surprise can be right there, right, right in front of your door. It could come through the mail. It can come through the email. It can come through the chat line. Did you ever have just all of a sudden somebody just pops up? Hey, what you doing? And you go, is this a good surprise or is this a bad surprise? What is it? Well, anyway, Mystic Moons welcomes all the seekers of chance, the seekers of maybe this is it. Are we going to win the lotto this week? Are we going to go to the moon? To the moon? Maybe. Maybe. You never can tell. Are we going to have a good surprise? Or are we going to have a so-so surprise? Let's do that. Let's do these cat cards. The power of feline tarot. Let's do these. Let's see. What is... Let's see. What do we have here? All right. Let's see. What kind of surprises are in for you? All right, let me see. All right, you who are listening, what kind of surprise coming your way this week? All right, let's say, will you get that job? Oh, to all the job seekers out there, I'm going to pull a collective. I have a few people in mind that I know are looking for employment. They're looking for a career change, especially with these so-called taxes. Everything is so damn expensive. Everybody's looking for a second gig, a first gig, any gigs, all gigs, right? They're looking for a new job, a job that pays you to pay you. Oh, it's so confusing. Anyway, this reading, this surprise reading is for all the people that are seeking career change. Career change for like more dinero, more cash, more moolah, more wampo. All right, well, let's see. And I don't mean that pejoratively. It's more. We need more. We need more, right? Okay, this is for people who are you getting a new job this week? This just doesn't mean anybody's not going to give something to you, a donation or something, or just something to help you. But this is like, look at all this. I got all this positive, all this like, this is all affecting this one. All right, now, let's see. This read is for all the people that are seeking a new career move. All right? A new surprise. Will they get a job this week? Will they get a surprise job? The first thing we get is the hangman. Well, that seems like a time card. This week, the hangman. It's not a no. It's not a yes. It's like a maybe. Maybe. Let's pursue this. Maybe. And then we got the Ace of Pentacles. That certainly sounds like earth energy, gold in the earth, soil, gems, riches, Ace of Pentacles. Possibility. Maybe the wait time for your new career is over and you can get the Ace of Pentacles. Let's see the next card. The Two of Swords. Now, the Two of Swords means, in this case, I would say it's under discussion. They're not going to inform you Someone's not going to inform you if you got the job or not. We have a timing card of the Hangman, and we have a timing card of the Two of Swords, but we have the Ace of Pentacles. It means the opportunity is there, but will it reach you this week? And we have the Seven of Pentacles, still deciding, and seeing. Not disclosure, not disclosure. What is the next card? The Wheel of Fortune. Wow, we get a lot of mixed messages about the people that are looking for jobs. If they're going to get the word that they got it, they got a big surprise. They got a big surprise. So we have a timing card of the two of, the Hangman, first of all. The Hangman. And let's just separate the timing and the under discussion. So I would say, first of all, somebody's been looking for somebody or had somebody in mind for quite some time. Okay? Let's put the timing that this job is not something that just like, bang, bang, just said, I think today I'll hire somebody. No. This is a job that has been mulled over for a while. So I would say the Hangman is something that has been around for a while, and they've just realizing they better act on it. And this Two of Swords is a discussion about this job that they've been keeping under wraps. And then we have the Ace of Pentacles, and we have the Wheel of Fortune. When we have the Wheel of Fortune and we have the Seven of Pentacles, meaning that they have been looking and viewing, and somebody is going to get lucky with the Wheel of Fortune. So I think it's entirely possible that someone out there with the Ace of Pentacles and the Wheel of Fortune, that the decision has been made in your favor. Check it out. You can get a very, very, very good surprise, someone out there this week. The surprise is awaiting you. Be on the lookout for those who applied, those who were contained. Somebody made the grade. Somebody made the grade with the Wheel of Fortune and the Ace of Pentacles and the Seven of Pentacles. Somebody is going to be lucky, 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 lucky. All right. Now, the next. How about the lovers out there? Well, the move. Movement card. Where are we going as a society? That's a question. Where are we going? Are we going to a good place? Are we going to a funky place? You don't know about when you live in certain kind of societies, you have to ask yourself, where are we going as a people? Are we going to sci-fi world? Are we going to Happy Land? Are we going to Demolition Man? These are all kind of like the titles of movies. We don't know. And the Chariot. The Chariot is a very, very, very distinct movement, right? Movement. Now, which way you go? You go this way or we go that way? We don't know with a Chariot where we go, but we are definitely not stagnant. We are definitely going up or down. And here we are. I'm speaking from the United States Empire, the failing empire, the empire that says we will get great again. How many people believe that we will get great again? That's kind of half and half. Now, some people will believe anything. What do they have call that? Positivity. just because somebody says you should think this way. But the logical person thinks both ways. Even when you're in a relationship, you think, wow, I would really love to spend my life with this person. And then you have to think about, but what if I didn't spend my life with this person? What kind of life would I lead? Right? What kind of life would I lead? That's something you have to think about. Nobody wants to be with somebody who is like a crutch. They want to be a union, right? You want to be with someone, it's like, it's not swapping. It's almost like trading. Like, what can you bring to the relationship and what can the other person bring to the relationship? It's almost the same thing about countries. What can one country bring to another country? Now, what can you say? What can you say? Trade wars, there's been all sorts of talk about that, of course. Of course. And we all know that everyone knows that tariffs are, it's going to be more expensive to buy things. You, the citizens of all the countries in the world, will be paying more for your bread, your butter, your eggs, your drinks, your radios, your computers. And what's the purpose of it, right? What's the purpose of tariffs? Do you think it's going to actually make you great? The United States is one place that hasn't made anything for decades. Decades. I think, I don't even remember how long it's been made in America. Very, very, very. I mean, I buy a T-shirt, it's made someplace else. I buy underwear, it's made someplace else. We can't even buy underwear made in the United States. Now that's pathetic. Can you buy a pair of pants that was made in the United States? Why? Even though our rivers are all polluted, right? This and that and this and that. I mean, thousands of excuses. But yet, now we want to bring everybody come back to the good old USA and make stuff here. That's just like a relationship. Now, if you have a relationship that you've been, what's that word? A cuckoo birding, you lay your eggs in somebody else's basket and they raise it, but it's yours. We've been cuckoo birding for a long time. A long time. And a relationship is the same way. If you love someone, but yet you've been getting your substance, your goodies, your inners or outer needs met by someone else, then how can you expect this relationship? And you would like to have it from someone else, but how can you expect the other person you're involved in the relationship to start fulfilling your needs when they haven't been fulfilling your needs, right? So the surprise is what? What's the surprise? It's the same thing with a job. If a job is not paying you enough money, but it's taking all your time, is that a good career move? No. And what about the person that thinks that you don't need as much as they need, right? That doesn't work either. That doesn't, it's time to move. You take this chariot here, this chariot cart, and you move because the surprise is right in front of your face. The surprise is, I gotta get out of here. I gotta move on. And where do you go? Where do you go? I even say with the refugees from different countries to different countries, at least they got up and they got up and they moved. Now, what about the people that sit in these countries, you and I, and everybody else, natives, but it's not working? It's not working. So what do you got to do? You got to surprise. You got to move and move where and to for what and for what. That's what you got to ask yourself. For what? For what? What's in it? What is the new thing? the new place to go, the new thing, right? And is the move that you have to do in your love life, your career, or even your whole body self? You gotta do something. You can't sit around and say, okay, so this is not working, so what are you gonna do if something's not working? You gotta drink, and you're gonna vacillate, you're gonna sit in front of the tube, you're gonna be what? You're gonna become a couch potato because life is not like working out for you in the area, in the place you're at, or the job stinks, or your relationship stinks, or somebody's gonna give you a big fat surprise. Are you ready for it? Do you feel surprises coming your way? Do you? It could be. I feel surprises are popping out all over. A lot of people are going to have some very, very, very candid things. Ponder that for a while, and we'll see. And if you would like to find out what surprises are coming your way, don't hesitate. Don't hesitate to ask. Mystic moons and joys, tiding, exploring, finding, seeking answers. It's such a pretty, interesting scene. Did you ever find that people, did you ever find that sometimes you notice that a lot of like people of a certain age prey on people that are of a different age? And they seem to forget that there's a difference in years, and also not only in years, but also in terms of like things were cheaper back when they were young, and things are more expensive now that you're young. And they just can't like, and they're kind of imposing. And that's something that it's difficult to take. I mean, even the fact of our president, he's going, oh, so what? A little bit of pain, we're winning, we're winning, we're winning. I mean, Trump is what, 78 years old, 79 years old. When he was around playing, kicking his heels, really kicking his heels, when he was thin and attractive and not like, overweight and pink as he is now. But I mean, it's like there's a certain when things were cheaper. I mean, candy bars were probably 5 cents when he was young. A candy bar is like $2.50 now, just a tacky candy bar. So, hi, how are you? Super fact. Well, you can take your message over. It's okay. It's okay. I'm just thinking about like when there's surprises. When there's surprises that you just don't know the mentality of where that surprise is coming from. And the surprise could be all of a sudden like, damn, this person is like really like living in the 40s or the 60s or the 80s, whatever. I mean, you want to be with like people who are like in the now, in the now. That's one thing about time that's very strange in one way. I mean, I guess when you realize you don't have to watch an old movie to realize the past was the past and this is now, but you can just see the different head trips that were like pushed. When you watch those old black and white movies, there's a certain head trip. When you watch the movies with those big shouldered 80s fashion, that's another, head trip. And then you see the way of like now, the head trip that's going on now. And it's evolving, 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 evolving. And to what avail? To us living on Mars, to going back into the cosmos? We don't know. We don't know. We can only speculate that what kind of life we want to live. I mean, so what that again says, you want to deal with people that don't grow, that think that like they made all their wealth and possessions when things, cars were 2K instead of like almost 200K, or not 200K, but like they're at least $70,000 to get a new car. That's outrageous. And then you got the black box, you got the trackers and everything else in the car, which I mean, they just like, they were in these all metal, were in all plastic cars, and you didn't have to have someone listening and telling you put your seatbelt on. You can't go that fast. You went 5 miles over. I mean, it's outrageously stupid. And then when these people go, oh, you're not going to feel any pain. Well, excuse me, you want to look at my empty refrigerator? Or like, I mean, it's just not with the times. And who is to say that anybody can say what is good for you when they're not you? It's the same thing you put on the cable TV, and all you get is all these like, pain here, pain there, and then all these pharmaceutical pills or injections or whatever. And they start telling you, well, you could get like, you could become blind, you could become fat, you could be like die, but you'll like, you won't get allergic reactions anymore. Excuse me, do I feel like, somebody's giving me a lobotomy? Do you feel that way? So the surprise could very well be an awakening of your reasoning. I mean, it seems to be a big push not to have you think, right? So when you finally, like, all of a sudden, like, you got an energetic zap of some cosmic energy, and you say, hey, hmm, that doesn't, that's not right. It doesn't feel good. So that could be, part of your surprise. That could be. That very well could be. And then when you think about, like I said, a lot of people today are influencers. Everybody's like, a lot of people are online. So then you realize that when somebody is, let's say, a politician or someone in a speaking role, could be a newscaster, I mean, they're just getting up there and talking about the way that they feel. And then you have to take consideration from where they're coming from. I mean, how easy it is just to blow off steam, right? Just to say, fungu, or, I think. Of course, there are certain guidelines that you can, when you're a journalist or pseudo journalist, whatever, you cannot openly discuss. And that's always in a society, you always know that there's certain topics that are like you get checked is okay, and certain topics it's not okay. Because we're supposed to be so frail that difference of opinion might rock the boat, rock the ship, sink the dinghy, whatever. So it's all these types of things that you got to think about. And sometimes you wonder why people act the way they do towards each other. I mean, there's conditioning. Like you look at those old movies in the 40s, and they're all very, very, well, watch them and you can tell what they're very, very. And those opinions change. Even in organized religion was a very big thing, like you see the cross everywhere, and blah, blah, blah. Do you see any of that anymore? Except in the vampire movies? No. Even I don't even know if they still do it in vampire movies. But there's so many formulas. How to make people uptight, how to make people despise other people, how to like dress, how to this, how to that, how to have sex, how to cook, how to eat. I mean, if I see one more pizza commercial, I don't eat pizza myself. I mean, if you eat it, fine, it's your business. But when you see hundreds of pizza commercials, it's like, yuck. I like, and then the chubby ones, the chubby commercials. Do you see how many people are chubby? Now you look in the 40s when they had those black and white movies. Did you see anybody that was chubby? Maybe the guys were bald and fat, true, but the women, no way, no way. They were like size. They were thin. They were thin. They had big shoulders. Maybe they were like trans women. I don't know. They could have been. Some of them are reported to have to be. However, the point is weight wise. Now everybody you see now is sporting like quite a bit of like weight, excess weight. Now to me, it's like, is there some alien race that like wants to eat us and they want us plumper? What is the message? Or do they want us to be sedentary, sit in the couch, flip the remote, which I like the remote too, by the way. But it's like, what is the deal going on? There's some kind of like conditioning going on. It's always conditioning. Why are you? And you have to stop and go, wait a minute. What is the conditioning? What is that the surprise? Is like so far right now, dating, having lots of sex, and then asking your partner, did you have HIV, or I have HIV? Do I have herpes? Do you have herpes? Or, love and marriage is like down the line. Let's see if we can work it first. Then, of course, after you had it a few times, is it still interesting? Is it still desirable? Right? And then you got to ask your partner, I mean, what is going on in this society? Are we like winning or are we losing? What kind of surprise is next? We already know that we weren't told where those bloody drones are coming from. And we also know, like, who cares about like something that happened, a murder that happened 50, 60 years ago at JFK? I want to know about who those drones, who, where, and how come it's been kept from me miles an hour, they do left, right, right turns in a flash, up and down, and they stay, and then they stand still. I mean, who's been doing this stuff? I don't get any action. I don't get any reaction. What is what? What is what? Tell me, please. How much? I want a surprise. I want to know. I mean, okay, I know that he's been re-engineered. Fine. I know some of this is the military, but I know some of this must be some goddamn aliens. Come on, don't shoot me out like this. You know what I mean? Don't keep me in the dark. Surprise me. Give me a surprise. Give me something. How can we have normal relationships and lover and lover, worker and worker, when we like so much as like so much fog, even death fog. What the hell is death fog? I mean, you think that these people are saying we're going to nuke, like Russia's supposed to nuke UK, or France wants to nuke Moscow, Russia. But I mean, come on. We all know you can have drones, you can have weather warfare. Why are we playing cotton balls and cotton candy with reality? And treating what we see, like we all know that weather warfare has been going on since the U.S. and the Vietnam War. So come on, it's like, what was that? 70s or 60s? That's 80 years old stuff. And I'm sure it was happening prior to. So it's, once again, irritating. The surprise is, why don't we just come clean? Just come clean. If we came clean, if governments came clean with the people, then the people you can come clean with your lovers, or your lover. You can come clean with your job, what you want to do with your life. How can you know what you want to do with your life when so much is hidden from you? So it becomes a surprise. Tell me, what do you want to do with your life? What can you do with your life when you're like you get a paper bag over your head, almost like a plastic bag? The lack of transparency, lack of realness, the lack of, give me a surprise. Tell me, just tell me. That is like a plastic bag. The air, I'm feeling stuffy. Come on. Don't. I don't have to drink and smoke and watch your crappy stuff, but just tell me so I can navigate in the reality of Earth days now. 2025, the year of the snake. Tell me, shed your lies, shed it in terms of everything so we all can be. Surprise me with real stuff. Real stuff. Even when you tell people some days like, gee, I really need a job, or I really need I need my lover to be like honest with me. And then they talk around, going around, they totally didn't hear you. They totally didn't hear crap what you said. It's like, well, what can you do for me? When you're honest with somebody and you say, gee, I really need to have like some honesty here. And then the person's like crapping you out by saying, hey, what about me? And they're totally, like wash my, clean my house or something. You know what I mean? Totally like, totally left field. Totally left field. People are not listening to what the needs of the other is. Other people, not somebody you look in the mirror and look at your freaking self. I'm talking about you and others relating one to one. I feel your heartbeat. You feel my heartbeat. I mean, what are you giving me this golf course bullshit for when you know that I'm like opening up? And then of course when you're talking to somebody who's like a Humpty Dumpty set in the wall and poof, they don't want to fall over. They don't want to open up. They just want to remain plastic. They want to be like faux, artificial, synthetic. It's like those body oils. They make them in laboratories. I mean, you have your thoughts processed in like incubator, like are your thoughts and your feelings really yourself? And you got to ask yourself, no, maybe because I was brought, my thoughts and my actions are created in a laboratory. My body isn't, as far as I know, but my thoughts and everything else are created in a laboratory. So, what are you going to do? Hello. Hi, Ghostin. Hey, I mean, come on. I mean, don't you want to like, you know, hey, we're all in for a surprise. Like we know we're going to get something. We know that something is up. Now, why are they just pulling us like we were like licorice sticks, taffy, and just giving us garbage? Why? Everybody, when you get these things happening, when you get these things happening, how can you, how can anybody have an honest relationship? How can anybody tell anybody else the truth? Because you know what they always say in those movies? In some movie, they say, you can't handle the truth. Well, that's one of the most truisms. That's one of the commandments of 21st century, of modernity, the modern age. You can't handle the truth, right? Because you're conditioned not to handle the truth. So that's why when somebody says like I'm dying or I broke a leg or I just like split my pants, you're like, hey, did you see that? You act stupid. They act stupid. I mean, what can you do with people like that? You want to wring their neck. Listen, bloke, I just told you I needed this, and that. And you're asking me, what? What? I feel like I'm in some sort of like sitcom of the 80s or this, or, some kind of like, you know, I'm just like, am I in a space saucer, or what do you call them things? Flying saucer? Am I in something like that you can't understand what I'm talking about? Excuse me. It's just that there's a whole lot of density going on. And that's what the surprise is all about. Coming clean. Coming clean. It's like the spirit giving you a jolt of electricity, a jolt of thunder, a thunderbolt, and saying, hey, boom, that's you. This is it. This is coming. This is it. Oh, it's like it can't continue. This like floating. This like you know this stasis. It can't continue. It's like a balloon that's popping. Excuse me. It's a little hiccup. I'm not drinking or anything. I'm just like trying to get the shield, the fog to like lift, the shield to like put down. And that's where the surprise comes in. Two people say, hi, you're really good for me. And I've been finding it a hard time saying it. Or you can go, hey, baby, you are like, what? You can't see what I see. And they're going, oh, you're crazy. How many times have you been told you're crazy? Who is the crazy one, right? You got to ask. Or like, you're like, don't rock the boat. You've heard that. I don't want to rock the boat. What boat is it? Are you floating in a bed? Or stay in your lane? Stay in your lane. First of all, are you rocking the boat in a bathtub or a sink or the ocean? Or stay in your lane? Are you on a dirt road, a dead end? You could be around people that are on a dead end. Or you could be with people that went off for a second. Or you could be with people that are the highway going somewhere. Somewhere. You live on a dead end of dirty. Well, you're lucky. But then that's your choice. No joke, Ocean. That's where hey, that's good. That's good. But I mean, I'm talking about mentally up here, or people that just like, you're in a love relationship. Maybe the person is treating you like you're like you're a dead end. You're living on a dirt road, not the highway. Where are you going? In terms of like your relationship, in terms of your career, in terms of like, where's the zip? Where's the surprise? Where is like, bang, man, we're on the same wavelength. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? I don't know. But we are like in an era of like you go to you read online about what's happening. You get one ghost story after another ghost story. I mean, who are they writing for? You mean pass me the popcorn, and I mean the microwave popcorn, because this isn't even like natural popcorn. I mean, it's just we have to go somewhere. We have to go get on our chariots, find out, slayer. We got to be like, Buffy, like become a slayer, get rid of the crap and just give me a surprise, because we are in a battle of reasoning. That's a surprise. That's a surprise. And that's where the energy comes. And that's where it goes. Is it going to hit you? Is it going to hit you? High enough frequency. Yeah, because you need somebody to pinch your tuchus. You need a pinch. You need your ears pulled. High enough frequency. You got to raise your vagus muscle, your vagus system. VAGAS. Vagus system. It's the brain, the heart, and the stomach. It's nervous system. Actually, what it is, you can look it up. Now, breathe. Breathing is very important. Calm down and breathe. Breathe in through your nose. Hold it and let it out your mouth. You do that a few times to keep your posture straight. Don't hunch over. Raise your frequency. But I mean, if she really loved you, she would help you raise, or just say so. Raise your frequency. There are things to raise your frequency. You can't be afraid of like the surprises in life. And if you've been eating, canned food all your life, like, canned, what do you call that? Microwaved, mind control. How can you, enjoy like freshness? How can you enjoy the ether that's really out there? The surprise is waiting for you is seeing it. Right. You eat Chef Boyardee. Well, anything that's round, okay, so it's circularity and all that type of stuff, flavor and all those things. But at the same point, it comes in a can, it's been sitting on the shelf. And they talk about, like, keeping canned foods around for nuclear war. Well, they don't need to do nuclear war. All they got to do is send some death fog over to us, or send some kind of drone chemtrails, spread some aluminum and all that tritium and the rest of the stuff that's been in the air, especially since Fukushima. What was that, 2011? That was like 20 years ago or so, right? It's been a while. I mean, there's so much crap going on and on and on and on. And now, the sun's too bright. Don't give me that horse shit just because you're rich as FUCK. I mean, excuse me? Why? Why? Why should some Napoleonic thing talk about the sun being too fabulous? And talk about carbon dioxide. Oh, eat me one, eat me, eat me, eat me. Carbon dioxide is less than 1%. It's less than half of 1%. It's less. This talking about cow farts. Well, forgive me for the cow should have a indigestion problem or just fart. How many people fart? How many bugs fart? It's like totally ridiculous. It's totally ridiculous. Totally. And that they want you to be spouting all this and all rights. Let's have the surprise of finding out that as a civilized society, we've been robbed of intellect, we've been robbed of knowledge, and we've been robbed of who we are. That's a surprise. They gave us a surprise of saying under the Gaza pyramids, there's like a 400 feet down, there's like a 100-mile city. They knew about that city a long time ago. That's why they said it was just a tomb to keep you away from, ghosts, and curses and stuff like that. BS. Eat that BS. Of course, plants love CO2, of course. But the air itself is 78% nitrogen. 78% nitrogen. And a few other things. And then maybe like 21% or 21% oxygen. And some other stuff. But the point is, it's like it's crazy. Sunlight is too bright. What about vitamin D? We're like plants. We need to grow with vitamin E. I tell you, you believe, and they say one cat equals, if you have an unfixed kitten, You're going to have 300 kittens? Oh, please. That is garbage. Totally garbage. Totally garbage. Somebody just doesn't like cats because it's a hangover from burning at the witch in the Salem. Black cats and cats are like the Salem days. I mean, burning the witch at the stake. We are just fed too much crap. Too much crap. Right. Right. And that's the whole thing too. Manifesting ourselves, our our abilities. Yeah, it makes you think about those 24 little semi-precious, so-called precious gems that the indigenous Americans gave the Dutch for New York, right? Now, what were those 24 gems? Maybe those seafaring, blue collar, in terms of intellect, sailors didn't know about gemology, gems. Maybe those gems had resound with human abilities, human powers. You don't know. I mean, they're certainly not going to tell us anything about the gems that were semi-precious gems that were given the indigenous. The indigenous gave the Dutch for the purchase of Manhattan. And then they were laughing. Oh, so stupid savages. Oh, so stupid, so stupid, so stupid. Now, who is the stupid one? That we don't know yet. That, as fact as we have, rare earth minerals. What do you think rare earth minerals are? These are semi-precious gems. And they give off certain properties. South Africans should know about that. The white ones that went over there and took all the stuff. Yes. I mean, there's so many things that were right in front of us. Like, I mean, in terms of like dandelions, we calling weeds weeds. Weeds aren't weeds. Weeds have a lot of homeopathic curative properties, but we call them weeds. Weeds. So we just like spread poison on our lands to get rid of the weeds. So we can have just grass, the grass that we can't eat, grass that like grass, right? There's so many things. There's so many ways that we realize that are not beneficial. A surprise. Oh, wow. I remember when I first found out X, Y, and Z, I was like, wow, too much, too much, too much, too much, too much. And they go, whoa, Nelly, whoa, girl, don't learn too many things at one time. We want you to stay in the cage, in the box, in the purse, in a place where we can tell you what to think. Now, even telling somebody what to think, because we are, civilized, or we should praiseworthy. Have you seen somebody, have you ever met like movie stars? Now, you grew up with a certain type of, you watch movies since you were a little kid, and you grew up with a certain fascination with somebody who puts their pie hole, their face, their body in front of a camera. And they got a certain kind of respect, so forth. But then it's just people, right? And then when you find out somebody, you watch somebody, as an adult, you can watch some of their movies and go, man, that movie really stank. I mean, I would be ashamed to like be in that movie. And that person is given a lot of like kudos and clout because they were in that movie. Well, that movie stunk. And the surprise is, gee, how pathetic. Then you realize too, like a lot of like people that have been in movies and got all that adoration and everything, that they killed themselves or they died of drugs and stuff like that because people could not understand what is real. Surprise, that person's a real person. Well, Ghosty, if you smoke pot, you know what they say. The goal of the so-called rulers are to keep you stoned and playing video games so they can do whatever they want so you're not paying attention. In other words, you become an easy mark. It's true. It's true. It's true. Did you ever realize if you fill your lungs with air and you get that vagus muscle, that vagus nervous system going, what you could really, really, really see and do. Surprise. You could probably make things move. You could probably read telepathically what somebody, you can pay attention. You could communicate. You could this, you could that, you could this and that. It could be quite a magical experience. Motivation is always the most important thing. And that is something. I mean, they say, like, we're supposed to be going evolving, like, in the midst of all this chaos, this financial chaos, and things that are happening left and right. They are saying that this change is necessary. Why? Because we're going, humanity, the ones that are awake and push that frequency higher and higher and higher, we are going towards crystal time, the crystallization of humanity. And I don't mean putting us full of, like, nano devices and stuff like that, nano drones and artificiality. No, I don't mean that. I mean that we are cosmically filled with something else that allows us humans to become what we were supposed to be ages ago, and maybe even in past ages, that they keep hidden. Right now, society, who is ruling the roost, at least in the Western world, they keep it hidden as possible because they still want us flying around like cheap, 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 cheap monkeys from a tree. Monkeys from a tree that just put their little toes, their twinkle toes, on the soil, on the grass, on the soil. And we're like, oh, I can stand straight. Cheap, cheap. Yes, we are in the reset, but not. And we're like, there's always one side, and there's always another side. And the loudest side does not necessarily mean it's the right side. Like right now, we're talking tariff wars. Now, we all know economic collapse precedes war, blood. But there's no reason for blood because we have weather warfare, we have drones, death fog, stuff like that. What else do we have? Flesh eating disease. We have all these things that we don't need to destroy buildings, bridges, but it's always great show to destroy buildings and bridges. I mean, look what the World Trades did, right? It started the Wolfenson Doctrine. You've heard of that. That was during George W. Bush's thing, which is all basically going after the Middle East and making it Western. Essentially, like they're starting already. And that is hot dogs and hamburgers and pizza everywhere and naked heinies. So it's kind of it's like make a big thing in the West about diversity. It's called sameness, sameness, sameness. But sameness. What is sameness? Sameness is no surprises, or not really invoking or seeing the surprise. Not moving unless I push a button and I go, you can move now. Move 3 steps. Go, oh, I can go 3 steps. It's humorous. You gotta have a sense of humor, Mystic Moon listeners. You gotta have a sense of humor. Really. You got to, like, really. Well, I don't know. There's so many people that don't want to see. They think they're sitting on a pot of gold, but they're sitting on another toilet. Flush, flush, flush. And one day they get a surprise. That toilet flush will just suck them down the sewer. And they say, oh, we're not one of those people. We have this and that. Mm-hmm. The whole goal is to get rid of the people that have this and that. That's why they have the people that don't have anything in front of your face all the time. To remind you where you're going. To remind you where you should go and where they're going to put you. And you go, oh no, it doesn't touch me. I got my TV, I got my son, I got my this, I got my servant, I got this and that. For now, you may. But tomorrow is tomorrow, and that tomorrow is always on the horizon. That's one thing you gotta get. You gotta know. Your girlfriend. Ooh. Love. Well, love is not control. It's the wrong word. Or maybe you just like, well, bondage. Who knows? Who knows? What's your surprise, Ghostin? What's your surprise? That maybe you have control over her. You are the one in that could be the surprise. Well, no, that's a question. Well, considering there are 17 dimensions, 17 dimensions, that's what they're the newest, well, the acknowledged 17 dimensions. When you're talking 5D or 3D, you have to realize that there's about 10 other ones, 10, 12 other ones. And I think that's what they're trying to do with maybe with constant TV, constant television, constant movies, constant cable. They're trying to show you, and then through the they have things from the 40s, the 30s, the 50s, the 80s, whatever. They're trying to show you kind of confuse time or make you realize who was sponsoring this, what group was like wealthy in the 80s, what group was wealthy in the 40s, things like that. What prevailing attitudes, what religion, endless, endless. And then if you quickly comprehend this, then you can like increase your dimensional pull. You can only really reciprocal love. It's hard to love when people aren't on the same time zone. So it's also need based. Do you think someone who, I mean, not everybody's adventurous enough to even think about different time zones, really loving without conditions? Conditions. You make enough money? Are you good looking enough? Can you fit in your clothes? Or you don't have man boobs? You don't have a big behind? You have this? You keep good posture? Do you bathe right? I mean, these conditions, right? These conditions. And then, do you fit this and that and this? Do you make me look good? Do I make you look good? All these conditions. Real love is different. Real love, are we capable of loving, really loving? And that's going to be a surprise. But how can you, if somebody is really loving and they're not comprehending realities, the reality of the actual existence the coexistence of which we are all, no matter what language we speak, no matter what our interest, I mean, our development, our reading abilities, et cetera, is the whole thing is love, real love. Can that person be a real person if they don't? If they don't have the abilities because they don't even realize they're living in a false paradigm? And that's the whole thing too. Like if I was talking to somebody and I realized, many times I talk to someone, and I realize, Jay, I'm talking to somebody who doesn't have a good intellect, somebody who's kind of stupid. What do you do when you realize you're talking to somebody who's stupid? I mean, they really want to communicate to you, but if this is God, man, or God, woman, or whatever, I mean GAWD, you're really stupid. I gotta watch my vocabulary. I can't scratch out too much because I can't talk too fast because this person will get lost. Lost in space, lost in comprehension. They need the GMO thoughts. They need the artificiality of the paradigm, what's that? I can't say of the surface world to be able to function in what they consider normal, and their normal puts me to sleep. They put me to sleep. So, well, that's almost like the imperfect perfect, or the perfect imperfect. It's almost as if looking at, like, an aquarium, and you have fish in a small tank. Excuse me, fish in a small tank, and you give them, you know, so many so much space to go flutter, 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 but it's still a controlled environment. When you're talking about the perfect imperfect, that could be a curio if you're like studying someone. But if you're really into having comradeship, if you're really into having a workable, tangible, growing relationship, you're going to be on the same page. Yeah, or try and be on the same page. You try. At least be aware that, and that could be interesting. Even in that's the interesting part, when you try and be on the same page. But however, somebody doesn't have the intellect, is a scaredy cat, is frightened about even crawling to that space, then you got problems. And then there's no surprise. And not to have a surprise, yuck. That comes boredom. That's boring, right? Well, you need room for transcendentation. Transcendation. I can't say that word either. What's wrong with me? Transcendence. Say that word for me. Well, you're not educated in the spiritual sense. Spiritual sense is nothing more than growing your breathing, calming down, breathing, and get your lungs and get the air into your brains, your heart pumping, and your stomach functioning. That's all it is. That's not all it is, but that's at least you get the engine and the car keys going. That's what it is. And then realizing, looking up in the sky at night is good, because then you don't have to see the chemtrails per se. But looking and seeing the heavens and seeing your place in it, and wanting, and of course notice what's moving real fast in the sky, but noticing that life is full of mysteries. Life is full of surprises. What's coming to me next? What surprises are coming to me next? That's the thing. You understand what I'm saying, don't you? You understand what I mean. And that's your first lesson. Getting your vagus nervous system stimulated and functioning, which they do every single thing that they can in your early development. I mean, the first thing they should say, breathe. Learn to breathe. And maybe you should have some pure oxygen around too, because, air is so funky. But breathe. And then grow your mind. And I don't mean with stupid ways, see, spot, run type of stuff that, since people in their 70s or 80s or whatever, they grew up with that in America, United States, see, spot, run. And then a lot of people never went beyond spot, can, run. That's why you get what is this record talking to me, this person speaking to me about nothingness. What is nothingness? Nothingness is the beginning of knowing that there must be something out there, and that's also the beginning of you becoming something. To comprehend this system and the state of nothingness. But of course, in contemporary Western civilization, saying you're nothing, that's saying, oh my God, I've lost my ego. I'm a piece of shit. I'm a piece of crap. And the surprise is not that. Nothingness is the beginning of something that's great. Because realizing you need to grow, you need to be stimulated, you need to get beyond the veil, get behind, see what this stuff was really made out of, see what we're made out of. That's what nothing realizing. But you see, the ego of the Western mind, the ego of the Western civilization is like, oh my God, I'm supposed to have somebody else tell me I'm nothing. So so they can keep me in that little glass jar, in that little box, under their under their thumb. But when you say it to yourself, that's a whole other different trip. Different trip. That's the beginning of growth. You're putting roots down, you're putting leaves, you're getting the sunlight, you're feeling the gain. See, that's why they don't want you to, they want to be able, I'm just going to use the word pronoun they want to tell you you're nothing so they can walk all over you and put you in the pity jar. Oh, you poor dear, you poor man, you poor woman, you lack, you lack. Now you should know for yourself what your pluses and minuses are, and what you seek to make those minuses pluses. You don't need nobody else telling you. Just breathe, calm down, relax, breathe in, hold your breath, and then let it out. Do that a few times. Then you'll be able to know that's a surprise of life. Then you should be able to know what you should do, and you should go your path, not somebody else's. Not somebody else's. No, not somebody else's. Anyway, so you understand what I'm talking about, right? You understand. But you know what pisses me off, though, I must say? What pisses Mystic Moons off is Mystic Moons deals with lots of people. It's people that think that they pontificate words, and their words have an impact. Yes, I mean, I know that people talk to me all the time, and I don't mean just this way. I mean, one-to-one, off air, and then I realize this person is playing role play, like they're playing some kind of video game, but on me. They're trying to get me in a box to play their game, right? So they can feel, oh, I'm so important. You can just feel their shoulders moving, and they're bouncing because they think they got over. Which I mean, please. If I say too much, I become like the parent, right? I become, no matter the woman's older than me or like whatever, I become the parent. And then I think, well, gee, it's a pity. I feel pity for the people that like go around trying to put people in boxes just to make you're right. I mean, you gotta just realize it's simple. Whether you're never going to find like a preacher on a podium in a synagogue, in a temple or a church that's going to say the reality of living. Because the reality of living is being under the cosmos and growing to join the cosmic order. They don't want you to join the cosmic order. They want to keep you flushable in the toilet. I met this famous man once, and he kind of took me under his wing. This was purely inspiration to inspiration. There was nothing sexual, nothing romantic, nothing like that, nothing. This was simply like, he could recognize we were like kindred spirits, and he told me lots of things. And I learned from him. And you can learn from people in these relationships like this, because you feel like family. You feel like this is where I want to go. Not even your own blood family, your bio family is going to mean to a healthy level, because then the control factor. And that's the sickening thing about a lot of relationships, whether it be love, marriage, spot job, or a career. It's like this whole impulse to like, of control, power. I have the power. Power is power is almost like, like a dandelion. They're all yellow. And then as they age, it gets all puffy. And the wind comes, you blow away, and you get all those little fuzzy things. That's what power is, momentary. I mean, and it isn't really like for people who understand reality and the order of things and the potential of things. It's like there's nothing, it's like all hot air. It's poof, poof, poof. It's poof. Well, does anybody want a reading as I've been just hanging on, like feeling my feelings, the feelings of the spirit, the feelings of like, of the excitability of where we go as one, as humanity goes. Humanity is definitely evolving. Well, that's why they're trying to put in all the stink of World War One. I mean, World War Three. Poison this, poison that. I mean, because they're trying to exterminate us because we're getting too close to the essence and the beauty of humanity. And some power hungry grabbers are trying to say, wait a minute, I can get lost in the shuffle. Perhaps there's somebody who looks better than me with a better body, better brains, better stamina, etc., etc., etc. And where will I, with all my dollars or dirhams or pesos, whatever you want to call it, whatever your money, gold pieces, silver, lithium, whatever, where am I going to be stacked up against so many great people? That's all it is. Well, true, Ghostin, but you want to know that the teachers and we've been following in the United States. The school system is basically started from the Rockefellers, I guess in the 50s, whatever, 60s, something like that. But they do the Rockefeller schools educational system, and believe me, you're going to trust the Rockefellers for education, educating anyone for like success. Duh. They don't. Do they think they want to? They want to own the field. And who is to say that? I mean, they used to spray DNT, DDT, DNT, that poison stuff. I forget that. It's either DDT or DNT. And they used to spray that and think that was like good for you, good for you, like it's aerosol. And we all know X amount of years later, it's poison, 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 poison. But they used to spray it freely, thinking they were. Well, they told us, the masses, not that I was around then, but I mean, they told us that it was good for us. And what else? All those craps, stuff they put on lawns to kill the weeds. And weeds are good for us. If it kills the weeds, it kills the bugs. What does it do to us? Common sense. One, two, three. So remember, LDT. Well, the whole thing is, I'm just trying to say that it's like there's so many things that we're not supposed to pay attention to, but we can't help but wonder. And you're not supposed to think about. You're supposed to think about, Ukraine and Russia. Hate Russia. Love this, love that. Hate this, hate that, and things like that. I mean, we're supposed to just be bogged down in a lot of our differences instead of thinking, well, people normally are a certain height, short or tall, they have a certain body build, and things like that. And we have our differences, and some of us like to wear skirts and dresses, and some of us don't. Okay, fine. But let's go beyond all that. Read my mind. I'm going to make this thing move. I can do this, I can do that. There's so many beautiful things and strange things that we're capable of. And yet they go around saying, oh, that person's demonic, that person speaks with devils, that certain person speaks with angels, oh, please shut up. That's what I said. Shut up. Learn. Do something. Find your surprise. Find out if you're on the right course. Find out if you are doing what you are meant to do in your lifetime. Well, the point is, We just got to wake up. We got to wake up. That's a surprise. I got to wake up. And then one day your eyes are popped open and you go, damn, wow, gee, it was right in front of me all this time. Yeah, that's what happens when you become awakened. Knowledge is fabulous. I mean, you can't. I know. I mean, we should spend a lifetime of studying, but then they say, "Oh, you don't." They try to say they use the words nerds or bookworms or stuff like that instead of saying power. That's real power is knowing and knowing who supplies your education, your books, your system, your ethics, knowing double talk, knowing propaganda, knowing this, knowing that, knowing the ants, the bugs, the green things, the trees, the skies, knowing right and wrong, knowing I got this. That's great. That's a great feeling. Knowing how to draw, how to play music at any age, learn how to draw, learn how to play music, learn how to do science, learn how to make electricity, any age. Any age. You don't have to be just, 10 years old to learn things. You could be learning it at any age, any experience. Find something. Scientific experiments, you could do the same thing. Go and get yourself like a microscope and go and take a look and see what's really happening in this world. Go get a telescope and see what's in the heavens. Knowledge or wisdom? That's a good question. That's what's worth more. That's a good question. That's a good question. Wisdom, you can't have wisdom without knowledge. And then you can't have to know what is wise, to know what is garf, what is propaganda, and what is safe, like the safe. Do you think when that meteorite fireball comes like hitting you from the sky, you're gonna look for a safe place? That damn thing is gonna come boom. When that tornado comes and sweeps you up, do you think I'm gonna find a safe spot? No, come on. It's against the spirit of this country, of the original people of this country. Yeah, and what's going to happen if electricity goes off because everything's on the same grid, and all of a sudden you got to, oh, the store is closed. Oh, it is dark. Well, come on. Everybody's using electricity this and electricity that. There's good energy and there's good electricity and there's bad electricity, and most of all, there's electricity that works. It's hackable. It's hackable. Everything that's online is hackable, no matter what they say. It's hackable. And you're at the mercy of that whole, I'm so comfortable. Yeah, seeing through the BS. That's the most important thing. First of all, is get your head glued on and you can say that this is BS. So many people don't even want to deal with that. I had somebody who wants me to go to like check out their business in terms of like a passive way of like, SEO, like having the internet pick up keywords on their website and stuff like that. I mean, come on. We have tariffs, we have trade wars, and you're worrying about some passive BS about word usage. Excuse me? I get to myself. Is this person really talk about something that is really not really workable right now? And the person is also in an area stuck in the mountains and feels that like, king of the mountains, Tarzan thing, or Dogman, I got the 9 feet Dogman, even though it's not the person. It's their pseudo projection of themselves. Well, I mean, there's all sorts of like, I don't see, right now we're living in an era that most people are, and this goes, see no evil, speak no evil, know no evil, know nothing. I'm just going around, they're like putty. But people when people are like putty, they don't have their minds glued on, they do have a certain kind of like, they get antsy. I don't mean antsy. They almost get kind of evil in an oatmeal way. oatmeal, like oatmeal, but evil oatmeal, like stale oatmeal. Eat it, eat it, eat it. They keep on feeding you stale oatmeal. It stinks. And you want to say, God, this person stinks. Stinks. Smells like shit. Bullshit. And sometimes, yes, we do, and they make us deal with it. Society makes us deal with other people's bullshit for a variety of reasons. Oh, it's just endless. Endless, 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 endless. Aggravating. It is aggravating. Anyway, if you want a reading, let me know. Okay? Let me know. I'm here. I'm going to work on something. You see this piece over here? This piece over here? I have a big one I'm working on. It's on the floor near me. And, it's so much work. Yes. This piece I'm working on is so much work. It's cool. It's this piece here. This piece here is right here. This is an entity I saw about in 2023 at night, like around 1 o'clock in the morning. It was past midnight. I was outside, and I saw this 6 foot something being coming towards me, and I went, "Oh shit! Oh, I don't want to see this." And it was coming. Now it wasn't humanoid per se, like with legs and arms, but it was 6 feet. It was wide, and it was shimmering like these glass. It was shimmering. And coming towards me. And it was not evil either. It was friendly. That's the point. It was like all happy. I did not need to see happiness like that. So, but I waited till it got pretty close to me, and then I said, no, I'm not ready for this. I'm not ready for this mind melting. Nope, 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 nope. However, until the next time, I'm gonna go work on that. So if you have anybody wants to reading, just let me know. Ask questions, stuff like that. We'll do it. What's art cows? Well, you have to put a donation. Put a donation because that's a private reading. Put a donation in, and I'll do it. We'll see if your girlfriend. How long have you been together anyway? How long have you been together? $2 years. Wow. That's long enough to have babies with. 2 years. The fact that you call her my girlfriend, that's a good sign. Yeah. 2 years. That's a long time. Well, as I said, you got it's personal readings. Put a donation in through Cash App or something like that, or buy me a coffee, either or. Everybody takes possession. It's called unity. It's called marriage. It's called I love you. I love you. Loving is, you don't want to love the, loving is like you, I'm going to live for you, you're going to live for me. You're living for yourself, but you're living for the other two. I can support you, I have your back. You understand what that is? I have your back. I live to be together with you, and you live to be together with me. And you have to make commitments. And or you don't have to make commitments, of course. That's like, that's but if you're with someone, you got to make them feel confident. You got to feel that you got their back, and vice versa. That's the important thing about loving. Now, if you can't do that, I found that hard to do myself. Then you just stay by yourself. Sometimes, I don't know, it's strange. Life loving is strange. Strange experiences. But you can take possession of a body, and if you take possession of a body, you take possession of the soul. However, momentarily, what? Soul energy, psychic energy, cosmic energy. So intertwined. Love energy. Love. When you say I take possession of no soul, you're taking possession of her body. That is just like, you might as well, it's like going around with a coat hanger and no coat.
If anybody would like a reading, let me know. I'm around.